Mine's good.
Yeah. Cool. So let's talk about what brings you guys here today. What is uStart?
Yeah, so uStart is the first ever entrepreneurship club at the University of Miami. And I'm here with my founding executive board member, Skylar.
Exactly.
The director of professional advancement. And uStart is basically a place on campus at the University of Miami where we can, delve into entrepreneurship and learn stuff about entrepreneurship, whether it's through workshops, through speakers, but the difference is that it's all through the students. And it's a student-run initiative, so students can run it. Students have the ability to take leadership positions and assume responsibilities almost like running a small business and marketing, doing content creation. It's an amazing opportunity for kids to learn more about entrepreneurship, meet their next co-founder, and just be all about entrepreneurship at the U. So
Yeah.
it's a big part of what uStart's about.
And how long has it been around?
This semester was the second semester it was in action. We were founded in 2018 in the fall semester, and we've been running strong ever since.
Nice. You founded it?
Yes.
Nice. Had to get that plug in there.
Yeah, well,
Cool.
of course. But it's not possible without people like
Exactly.
Skylar.
Cody started everything, and then pretty quickly, we found like an executive board of 8 persons, and that's pretty much one of the greatest teams I've ever worked with together. And everybody has their own position. For example, I do always create the events, get the speakers, get the educational speakers, but also the entrepreneurs coming in, sharing their experience, their knowledge with our students. And that's one big part of uStart, that we bring in those really successful entrepreneurs who already have done what we all want to do in the future, and share it with the members.
Nice. So what kind of a mission statement do you guys have, or what tenets govern the governing of it and that members have to adhere to or live by?
Wow, no, it's a beautiful way to word the question. We actually have remember, it's a huge document of the mission statement. We could go.
Right.
If I can't remember it off of the top of my head in terms of the finality of it, but the purpose and mission of the organization is really to help further entrepreneurship at the university. Whether it's through having speakers, like this man is incredible at getting speakers. You should see his list. His pro forma list of speakers is profound. Whether it's through having events, through having activities, having workshops,
Yeah.
working. The biggest part is that it's multidisciplinary. So students from the School of Engineering, College of Arts and Sciences. We have some kids from the Frost School of Music.
Exactly.
And we just all get along in one place. We meet every week, and it's just incredible. We get to meet all these people who are all interested in the same thing, but come from such different backgrounds.
And to expand on that, like pretty much like you said, we started with the business school, send out mails to entrepreneurship majors and minors. But then in the second semester at the beginning, when pretty much my suite mates, so music majors, asked me about uStart and if they want to come, and if they can come, because first they thought it's only a business school thing. Then we realized, hey, everybody can be an entrepreneur. They don't have to study business. Everybody can create something by their own, make an impact, and change the way people live their everyday life. So pretty much now we got in contact with the engineering school, the law school, and tried to expand and bring like all those diverse and like really persons with different perspectives into our club.
So what is entrepreneurship?
So what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is the fact that you can be in any stage of your life, any socioeconomic background, and have the opportunity to create the living that you want, to create the business or dream life that you desire, and that it's possible even with no funds. And that's what we're trying to push forward, that it doesn't matter, again, the school, who you are, just you have the idea, let's make that idea work. And that's what we try. We try to connect people with entrepreneurs that we bring in, with our backgrounds, and the people that we know. Like if you're in our circle at uStart, we're going to share everything.
Where are some of the hurdles that you see that people encounter when they're trying to start a business or form their own company or make their own thing?
Starting. Literally in your question, starting is probably the biggest part, but also just not knowing where to go, not having a positive group of people around you. Hey, that's too hard. No, you should just take the safe route. Hey, you should just do this. Instead, we have an encouraging, positive background and group of people that, it's not the, hey, like anything's possible, do something crazy, but hey, let's look at this, let's take the proper steps, and let's surround you with a positive group of people and connect you with the right people to make this come true.
Right.
So first of all, I would say that there's there's not one definition of entrepreneurship, and that's also one big point of uStart, that we not say like, hey, entrepreneurship is this particular thing and then you can join us and like be part of it. So uStart is more of a space where we give students opportunities to live there, or to kind of explore their version of entrepreneurship, to find out what they want to do. Because like if you Google what is entrepreneurship, you're not going to find one answer. There are 1,000 answers. And that's why pretty much so many students are active and so many students are willing to come to our meetings, even like at 6:30 p.m. on a Monday, because they really try to find their passion and also try to explore in their passion.
How do you get people motivated about actually taking action and getting stuff started, right? I think there's a something with our younger people in general. I'm not going to say it's our generation. I think just in general, young people, right? Lots of ideas, hard time getting started because you got lots of things you're trying to work on. You got, trying to stay healthy, trying to stay on top of school. How do you make time for that? And how do you prioritize what your goals are and how to make a plan of action and actually get going?
So for me, it's always that what I've talked with a lot of successful people also about is that they often have directly when they start something new, they don't plan for like 2 months in advance, 3 months in advance. They try to look like, hey, what do I want to achieve with that in 3 years? And that's pretty much what they tailor and focus everything towards, and then prioritize what they have to do, what steps they have to go, what other people did to get there, and then pretty much follow that. And that's also what I'm going to do. So pretty much we talked about it before. Like I asked Cody, like, hey,
on the way up, we're literally
how do you
about this.
how do you find time to go to the gym all the time? And he's like, yeah, I prioritize my health, and sometimes lack in different kind of areas where I could put time in. And for me, it's if you look at my belly, I have to go to the gym a little bit more often, So
That's all abs.
Exactly. But like you said, I think a lot of people just like with entrepreneurship, like you said, the biggest problem is to start, because a lot of people are scared about the whole thing about starting something by their own, taking the risk in, and it's definitely a hard thing to do. And all the entrepreneurs that we had at uStart all agreed to it. It's a hard road to go. It's like really one of the most difficult things to do, I think, in your life, or even like as a job. But however, all of them told us that's what they wanted to do and that's their passion, and at the end they would always do it the same way.
Yeah.
Hence the name uStart.
Yeah. So what events have you guys been doing this year?
Yeah, so we've had, the man himself, the professional advancement, helps us with a lot of this, and he could get into, great detail on this, but pretty much we've been focused on, right now we're focused on our big event, which is coming up in a week, which is called Celebrate You. We're having tons of vendors. We're having a raffle. We're giving away AirPods. If you're in the area, you should come. And we're just celebrating the success of uStart. We've had speakers ranging from Chris Nolte, the founder of Perla Coffee, who's actually his mentor right now, which is, again, nice. It's crazy what you can get out of it. Mm-hmm. And also ranging from speakers from the CEO of Fundware, a company publicly valued at $300 million, coming directly to University of Miami students. We've had events like that, workshops, activities, entrepreneurship competitions, just anything we can get to incentivize people to come in and to be a part of our organization. And
additionally to that, I think a great thing is also to mention that we have actually companies coming towards us, student-run companies. They started at, for example, Brew Bike. They started at Northwestern. They sell coffee, but made by students, organized by students, founded by students, and pretty much run by students. And they want to expand from Northwestern now to the University of Miami. And they came to us to try to find people who run this business at the University of Miami. They try to find 4 students. And because of that, also at the Celebrate You event, we're going to talk more about that and give this opportunity out to our members who want to be engaged in this entrepreneurial opportunity.
What got you introduced into entrepreneurship?
So my father's an entrepreneur, was all his time, but maybe it's not even that. It was just like that I felt often in my growing up that at some point I already knew when I was young I wanted to do something by myself. I wanted to make an impact in my life. And then when I grew up I'm from Germany. I grew up in Germany. When I turned 18, I finished high school. I pretty much saw that in Germany the opportunities for entrepreneurship, the stigma of entrepreneurship is not that supported as it is in the US. And I was born in Miami, so I'm a US citizen too. So I had the opportunity to come over here, take a look how people handle entrepreneurship here. And after the first time I came to the University of Miami, I decided I'd come here and stay here and start studying here. And additionally to that, the weather's pretty good here too, so it's not that cold as in Germany.
Nice. You, Cody?
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know you were born in Miami. That's
Oh,
cool.
you didn't?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't listen.
Yeah, I guess not.
No.
Active
My
listening,
gosh.
it's so important. For me, what got me into entrepreneurship would definitely be just my life story, living with anaphylactic food allergies. And when I was I think I was 15 years old, I went to my first ever food allergy research and education convention. And I stumbled upon all these vendors who had tables there, and a bunch of them selling entrepreneurial related things. And I was like, this is really interesting. Why can't I get into this? And then the next year that I came back, I was working with a lady from Canada on a company that does life-saving wallets, like that carries your EpiPen or your AviQ. And I was working with her, helping her sell her stuff and conceptualizing products. And that really got my itch. And then I came to the University of Miami. I took an entrepreneurship class at the beginning of my sophomore year. And that was it. I just completely fell in love. I mean, the idea that you can create something that not only is beneficial for yourself, but also you can help, or in my case with my company, help the lives of millions of Americans with food allergies, and have my own lifestyle where I can work whenever I want and travel, be location independent. I just never stopped. And then I wanted to share that love and that enthusiasm and that passion. And now we're here with uStart and trying to further that. So
Awesome. Yeah. How do you think technology enables people to become entrepreneurs more easily? For example, do you think entrepreneurship was as big of a thing back, 50 years ago before the internet and communication and stuff like that?
Wow. I mean, I'd have to say in the sense, no, just in the sense that it's so much more difficult to get the word out back then. Back then, the safe route or the non-traditional route was to go to college. College was the thing. And I'm not saying, hey, don't go to college, right? But
I am.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Yeah, no. But now, like, the non-traditional route before it closes is entrepreneurship, and it's closing in quick where everyone's going to be an entrepreneur. It's already looking like that now, but back then it was going to school. Oh, wow, like you're going to school. I'm staying home. Obviously, entrepreneurship was still viable even back then, just very, very different. It was a different game. And now it's incredible. You can share the word in an instant. You can hop on a podcast and share your truth. Mm-hmm. And Google's like an encyclopedia. You can type in any question and learn. There's just so much information that's free out there. Advertising, Facebook ads, AdWords, everything. It's pretty cheap. If you look at the prices, it's pretty cheap. And just realizing that the opportunity cost of starting now than later, it keeps getting exponentially higher as more people have access. Mm-hmm. So again, with uStart, making people aware that the time is now is probably the biggest part of our mission.
Yeah, and also being able to target, more specific audiences
Exactly.
with smaller niches. Like if there's 5,000 people in the world that like this one thing, you can actually find them.
It's crazy to think about.
Exactly.
There would have been no market for that before, potentially.
But I also mean, like, with technology, it's like almost every idea is pretty much something that was old, traditional, that wasn't like really like developed in the past few years, and then technology comes in, assists the human, and like brings something better out, something more innovative, something more effective, cheap, faster, whatever it is. And that we wouldn't have been able back in like 20, 30 years.
Right.
So I think like there are definitely like a lot of more opportunities now to enable entrepreneurship, even though I also think on the other side now it's like super competitive. If you look like at venture capitalists, they get like hundreds of ideas every day that they have to skim through, and then to stick out, to be unique is really difficult. But that's what we're all here for, to do that and try to do it.
Yeah. Where do you see the club going in the future, and what goals do you have for it?
Oh, that's a really good question. So because, like I mentioned before, this semester we really tried to go into the law school, the engineering school, and also different schools that we also try to expanding next semester to bring more diverse, more people with different perspectives together to work together, because that's what uStart is. We try to let people who have an entrepreneurial mindset to collaborate with each other, and pretty much because of that, we think we really value that. Because of those collaborations, happens great impact and happens great innovations.
Yeah, and also to add a little bit on that as well, beyond the scope of collaborating with other schools and whatnot. Similarly to what Brewbike has developed, that'd be very cool to see students from the uStart to operate a company within this club and to grow a company.
100%.
Like, be very interesting. Obviously, keep bringing on more speakers. We would love to host our own competition.
Right.
And give away prizes. We currently have a university donor. We just received $2,500, and he seems pretty happy to keep coming back. Hopefully, we're praying.
Thanks to Bill Hefner.
Yeah, thanks to Bill Hefner, the man.
Right.
And we just want to keep expanding our offering and potentially reach out to even some other schools that don't have an entrepreneurship program.
100%.
We can NYU start, No.
Right. And like I think like the main goal, honestly, for me is not just to look back and see uStart as the biggest organization at UM, but also try to look back in 10, 20, 30 years, whatever, and see uStart all over the place in the US at every campus of universities where they have a lack of entrepreneurial community right now, and try to expand on that and offer them pretty much the opportunity of joining this like really great thing that we try to build up.
Exactly, and a lifelong network as well.
Can you run me through your 3-year plan for that?
Okay, so first we're gonna run Google AdWords to every university, thanks to our funds from Bill Hefner. Then we're gonna do some guerrilla marketing, do some cold calling because we're back in the 80s. But I think it's feasible. Obviously, like that's very out there. I think you start small, you expand within the school, you host some competitions, you invite some other entrepreneurship programs to your competitions, you get the word out there that you're doing stuff. And then you expand your offering, you send it to a school as a package, you have a representative. It's definitely feasible, but you have to kind of have to bloom where you're planted in a sense.
And it
too,
definitely also happened before student organizations, like for example, Launchpad. We talked about that earlier.
Exactly.
And we're not Launchpad, we do something totally different. Launchpad is something that supports individuals with their companies, tries to give them resources for it. We try to bring people together, to let them work together and give them resources additionally in actually experienced and successful entrepreneurs to share their experience and knowledge with. But Launchpad did it. I don't know how many campuses there are, but
yeah, there are a couple campuses across. Nice. I think I remember I was at the ACC and Venture competition, and they had one from Boston College, I believe, and then one from Boston University. UM was actually the first Launchpad actually ever created, and we just want to help their offering as well because they have the specialty. They have the venture capitalists that help you with the pro formas of your balance sheet, your income statement, and we're there trying to get them to the point to get there because sometimes you can't just walk in, hey, because for example, you need to almost have an idea to keep going. To have an appointment, you need to type in, I did the form as well, you have to type in the company name, the idea, all these things, and we're trying to put them in the direction like, hey, start here, move forward. Because maybe we'll get to the point where venture capitalists, but we're a university organization. So that'd be pretty cool.
Cody, what do you think are 3 of the top most important traits for being an entrepreneur? Well, being a successful entrepreneur.
Successful. 3, very limiting. Got to be very concise.
Figure 3 is a good number.
Yeah. Grit is definitely the first thing that pops in my head. I've felt this even myself. When you have sometimes a perfectionist mentality, all or nothing mentality, you sometimes don't want to fail. You're scared what people are going to think of you. And you kind of just take the route of inaction versus action, because if you don't take action, no one can judge you based off one of your results. But if you take action, sure, you're going to rack up a lot more failures than someone else, but you're also going to get a hell lot of more successes. So being able to understand that is probably the biggest thing. So grit is definitely one of them. If I had to give, that's the main one. If I can keep it at one, honestly, because you can
have them hierarchical,
Yeah, you can go for so many other things, like a curiosity mindset. God, there's just so many that I can think of. But if I had to say one specifically, it's grit. And obviously, everyone, the cliche, you fall down, you pick yourself back up. But I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
Sure. I first thought about maybe saying leadership, but then on the other hand, I thought about what I said earlier. And I still think everybody can be an entrepreneur, and like people sometimes confuse that entrepreneur doesn't even mean directly CEO. Some entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs, but they're not the CEOs because they're just not the personality for it. So I think everybody can be an entrepreneur, but grit is definitely one of the most, and tenacity. It's one of the most important things for an entrepreneur, to keep going, to see something and what you think in your idea, and to step forward and just do it and see what happens. And even if you don't have the best leadership skills, if you don't have the best communication skills, if you still have the grit, you can be an entrepreneur and just find a team around yourself that helps you in the things that you lack of.
Yeah,
exactly. And
since we're at 2, I'll add a third one. I think self-awareness is key for me. You know,
shout out Gary V. Gary V.
Shout out to almost every philosopher ever.
Right.
I mean, if you can't understand where you are in relationship to the world and where you're right and where you're wrong or where you're confused or not, you know, you're just going to get lost and
exactly.
Yeah.
I think I know my 3 now.
Cool.
I mean, there's
grit,
a way.
self-awareness, authenticity. I feel like that's the key. Yeah. And discipline's a part of grit.
Sure.
Nothing's an overnight success.
Yeah. Who do you think should not be an entrepreneur?
It's a hard one. I mean, you can't really box anyone. I don't know. What do you think, Skylar? I can't box someone. Hey, you can't be an entrepreneur.
I think everybody can.
Sure.
I believe that. I saw a video of a guy that came from college. He had like, I think 30 or 40,000 in student loans. And pretty much the way he paid it off is that he, from one to the next day, started living outside, started living without spending money for anything. And he did that for 1.5 years and was debt free. He had a goal, and he pretty much achieved that by being creative, by being outside of the box thinking. And even though some people don't say that's an entrepreneur, I think that's entrepreneurial.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. And I agree with this statement you said. Anybody can be. I guess I'm asking more who should be and who should not be, right?
Okay. I get,
like if you, let's say those 3 key
100%.
things, you know, the 3 key values or qualities, like if you don't have that, or maybe you don't, you like structure, maybe you like having a structure in place that you can follow and not have to worry about the rest.
Right.
No, absolutely. And that, I mean, worded that way, I could see where you're coming from, because some people wouldn't be able to, it's what they truly want in a sense as well. So you're right. Some people operate very well within structure. And the thing is, you can be an entrepreneur and then create structure within what you're doing.
Sure.
But I do believe with what you're saying that for some people that, and a very big disclaimer is that these are things you can develop.
Yeah. Right.
But if it's hard to self-motivate yourself, that's the first thing. And I mean, accountability is a huge thing. So, it's why most, 90% of startups fail. Is that the number? It's somewhere up there. Right. It's pretty high. Big reason. You got to show up every day.
Yeah.
Even the days, and I've learned this with the gym. I'm sure you as well. Where even on the days you don't feel like it, you have to go, because it's not. You don't. Oh, I feel motivated, I'm gonna go to the gym. It's like, I'm not feeling too motivated. I'm not feeling too motivated right now. Let me go to the gym and then I'll feel better.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. And I think that gets tossed up in so many different areas of life. And once that becomes a keystone habit where you don't kind of trust your emotions as much, and you kind of just say, hey, like, I made this commitment, I'm gonna follow through with this commitment day after day, because I know I'm getting 1% better versus 50% better in one day, and then 0% for 3 months, and then 50%. It's just not going to add up. So consistency is the delineator, I believe. Consistent action. And if you have too many other priorities, you have too many other things going on, like, that could really hurt the chances. So I still don't believe that anyone should back down if they do want to, but I do believe you have to look at your life and your priorities and your overall overarching goals, and be honest with, like, look at yourself, like, in a stoic sense, like, look at yourself in the mirror and understand your truth, understand the present moment is what you have, and continuously take that action. So
definitely. Yeah. And like you were saying, even if you're somebody who does well in a system of structure, you can still bring these entrepreneurial qualities to your job and become better at what you're doing. So, let's say you want to improve your performance, so you go out of your way to learn and be a little more self-motivated. That's going to be helpful for you, the people you work for, your future self. So yeah, definitely. I think even if you're not going to be full on entrepreneur, there's still so many things you can do on the side. Exactly.
And start, like, for example, a podcast is a perfect example. Like, there's no one telling you, hey, you have to do this. You're doing it. It's entrepreneurial in this sense. And the skills translate to so many things, like practicing and playing guitar. There are so many things that could be deemed entrepreneurial that you're skill building, and you could apply it to something in real life or something that you care about. And that, who wouldn't want to do something they love, you know? Right. And I know that's the cliche, do what you love, but I believe it's more develop what you love. You can't just pick up a guitar and be like, hey, I'm going to be John Mayer. You know, you have to pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it, and continuously, and develop your passion. So
yeah, I think like passion is a big thing, and like asking who shouldn't be an entrepreneur, I think since everything is about passion, and my belief also with entrepreneurship, like entrepreneurship is my passion. Entrepreneurship is most likely of most of the entrepreneurs, their passion. They want to create a change, like an impact, like I said multiple times. I think a person who shouldn't be an entrepreneur should be somebody who says, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur just so I become a millionaire. And I think like most likely more than 95% of every successful entrepreneur started not like that. They all started because they had a vision. They started because they want to change something. And then it just developed like that because they were passionate about it. And that's pretty much because they are putting all this effort in it. If they wouldn't be passionate about it, they wouldn't put as much effort in it as a same person would that is passionate about it. And I really believe in that.
Exactly. And the key thing with that as well is the passion is not the prerequisite at all. You develop it along the way through the process. So if you're running around, I'm not passionate about everything, why is this person passionate? You got to look at yourself in a vacuum almost, and you got to be self-aware and realize that you are different, that you don't need to be looking around, and just focus on yourself. And the passion will come if you try it with different things and develop it and just find what you're good at and what you appreciate.
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago, I was moderating a panel from a lot of like people, not even just entrepreneurs, but like we had 5 speakers. They were all really great professionals in their area, and we were pretty much presenting to a group of freshmen people. It was like over 80 freshmen, and one of the biggest questions from this freshmen were because we were all talking about passion, like how those freshmen should follow their passion and find things that they can get involved in their first or second year early on, and then pretty much tailor everything to that's their passion. But then their question was obviously, how do I find my passion if I don't have my passion? And the panel was trying to answer that, but I think it's a really difficult question. So finally, I thought about that again, and I think the one way not to find your passion is not to do anything. The only way to find your passion is to do things and to figure out what you like, what you don't like. And then at some point, like you said, you develop a passion for something, and then you go over it. And then if you have this entrepreneurial spirit, maybe use this passion and create something with it that can help. And
he's really passionate about getting amazing speakers. You know, he developed it's fun to speak to people.
Right. So yeah, before we wrap things up, could you each just list one entrepreneur you look up to and why?
I'm gonna say Skylar's dad. No, not even.
Nah.
One entrepreneur I look up to. Obviously the easy answer is Gary Vee. You know, I'm gonna dig a little deeper for this one. If you want to answer it, I'm gonna think of mine.
No, I have to think about the name.
Oh, okay. Maybe ask it in like 10 seconds.
Cody Sklar.
Yeah, Cody Sklar. Yeah, myself. I have a shrine of myself. I printed my logo for myself.
On my forehead.
I mean, Gary Vee really is like, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as entrepreneurship, he's kind of the figure right now.
I'm going to take a different approach. Okay, I'm going to say my favorite. Yes, I believe Gary Vee is an incredible... Oh, I know. For me personally, I'm going to put 3.
Sure.
Right, now I can do 3, right?
Switching it up.
So I'm switching it up. You know, like entrepreneurship, you control the rules. So obviously Gary Vee is up there, again, with self-awareness and authenticity. I think it's the keystone habit of it. If you want to look at the lifestyle of an entrepreneur, he's not flashy. And again, like, it's not like you can't be flashy. You can do things, but I believe in essentialism, which leads me to the second entrepreneur, which is Matt D'Avella, who's all into minimalism and essentialism. And he's a very consistent videographer. He actually shot The Minimalist. If you guys haven't watched that on Netflix, it's incredible. I actually purged my entire apartment after watching. I purged my entire apartment after watching it. I donated stuff, sold some extra stuff, and got what I really needed. And the thing he really taught me is to, again, look at yourself in a vacuum and see what you truly want, what you need in your life. And it dictates more than just materialistic things. It's, you know, like with whatever's in your head. And the third and my personal favorite is actually Christian Guzman, who is the owner of Alphalete and the owner of 3D Energy Drinks and the owner of the Alphalete Gym. He's been my role model since I was, I believe, 18 years old. And I still watch his YouTube videos all the time. He's just the definition of grit and consistency, and such a great personality. And my biggest goal as of right now is when I launch my company, I want to ship him a meal and say thank you. I have a picture with him. He actually came to the University of Miami. Oh, wow. And I got a picture with him. And, I was like, he's huge. I'm like, I'm trying to get there, man. Put in the work. But it's just, I look up to him for what he's accomplished, and not just that, but just the person he is, and he's so authentic. So those are definitely my top 3. If you guys haven't seen them, I totally recommend giving their content a try. It's very positive and very disciplined yet motivating focused. Cool.
So pretty much for me, I could go Steve Jobs, but I guess that's kind of boring. So I'm pretty much talking about John Usher. Most people likely don't know him because he didn't got like that public about what he did, but I think he's like one of the most impressive entrepreneurs because he just did a simple thing. So he's a serial entrepreneur, and he came from a low like income background from his family, and then pretty much already started. I think the first thing that he did is like at his college started selling specific earrings, and raised some money with that. I think continued on that, then was like in the toy industry for kids, but then most importantly, and I guess that was like his biggest breakthrough, and also his most impressive one for me, is that he already had his team. He was already retired. He had enough money to live for the rest of his life in a great like standard, but he, like most of entrepreneurs, came back and wanted to try something new, came back with his team of entrepreneurs, with his team from previous ventures, and said, okay, let's go to Walmart and see if we find something, see if we find a niche, and just see. And they went, and they came back with a list of ideas, and the one that like went through, and that was the most like the best one that they thought about, was that in this time it was like, I think in the 80s, was that they had toothbrushes, manual ones and also electric ones, but the manual ones were about $5 and the electric ones started with $80. So pretty much what they started doing is seeing this niche and creating a $10 toothbrush, electric toothbrush, and they went crazy with it and got pretty much bought by P&G afterwards. Oh, wow. And exited like that and continued like being a team at P&G and working on it. And I think that was super impressive for me because it was a simple thing. They went in Walmart, saw a niche, developed on that, bring out a product, made a patent for it, and found a way to make something more cheap and affordable, but with the same quality for a lower price. And that was really impressive for me.
Cool. Yeah. Was there anything else you guys wanted to cover?
Just that our Celebrate You event, our biggest event of the year, is happening April 24th at the University of Miami at the Lakeside Patio. We're extremely excited. We have an amazing speaker coming, speaking about social entrepreneurship. We're having people tabling from all the way from Launchpad, from Alpha Kappa Psi, the business fraternity, from DSP, from Topple. The list goes on. There's a huge raffle. There's AirPods giveaway. There's a signed autograph of a Florida Panthers hockey player, Starbucks gift card giveaway.
Social entrepreneur coming in, and then pretty much a brew bike opportunity that I talked about before, like an entrepreneurial opportunity for students to build up their own business, like a franchise system at the University of Miami.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're very, very excited. We're putting a lot of effort into this, and we're just very, very excited. So.
And if somebody wants to get in contact with you guys, how could they do that?
Just email us at uStart, start Miami @gmail.com.
How about social media?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram at start Miami, and you can find the link to our private Facebook group there as well.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys, and good luck with the club.
Thanks so much for having us.